The Sentinel is known to be reliable, fearless, disciplined, consistent, courageous, motivated, and skillful.
So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances.
All these qualities start from the mind. Your mind can be your worst enemy or your most powerful weapon.
The world becomes your library to help you to become better at your craft.
Is this the dagger?
Learn how to achieve greatness and tap into the Sentinel mindset.
This episode is brought to you by The Arena. The Arena focuses on helping law enforcement and security professionals achieve their ultimate work experience, curriculum, and fitness goals. Visit thearenatoronto.com.
Okay, well, I'll tell you something right now. I'm very excited. I'll tell you why I'm the most excited.
Yes.
Because we have a Canadian right now.
Canadians are so
in the midst.
Like they're like a hardened force. Like they're loyal. I love it.
Exactly. Now, who is this Canadian? This is Justin Hanson.
Yes.
Okay. And Justin is from SpecVIP. Okay. And he said something today.
Yeah.
Before we open up the floor, and I want to read this because I love when we go into leadership. I love it because it's just the essence of everything. That's what he said. Leadership is a verb. To build and maintain a high-performance team, the leader must be an active participant.
100%. Absolutely.
Amazing. Justin, thank you for coming down, man.
Well, Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here, and thanks for sharing that quote.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Part of my core, so.
No, 100%. So why don't you just share a little snippet? I mean, the presentation you talked about was high performance within leadership, okay? Can you just maybe give a snippet to why it's so important to develop leadership within an operation?
So developing with the leadership is at the core of everything we do, right? Anytime we have people and they're working towards a purpose, we need leaders to guide them, we need leaders to develop them and mentor them and make sure things are clear so that we can have high performance, right? In executive protection, close protection, we've got some pretty high stakes, and those high stakes require high performance. So in order to maintain that performance, we need a significant leadership presence, but it doesn't have to be, overbearing, and it requires a specific person and a specific personality and a balance, because like you're talking about there, that active participation component, that in itself is a challenge, right? Like I talked about in the presentation, you've got micromanagement on one side of the continuum and then delegate and disappear on the other. And neither of those are effective leadership. So you need to find a way to apply the appropriate amount of active participation based on the individuals that you are leading and where you are in the operation, in the situation, and where you are in the team as well. Because every level of leadership has its own role. Team leaders need to be super close to the operation and find that amount of, participation that they need to be effective. The further you get away from the operation, the more deliberate you have to be, the more involved you have to be, because you still are part of the operation. You have different decisions you have to make that affect the operation, and you have to be a voice for the individuals on the operation. So, if that makes sense.
I love it, man. No, it makes all the sense. I like rings of the leadership stuff that we learned in the Marine Corps, which is ultra awesome. That's where I believe I've served under some of the best leaders. So I've seen that leadership model and approach under extreme amounts of stress, and that's what makes me really, really buy into it. And the delivery of it was spectacular.
Thank you.
Loved it.
Appreciate it.
It was like eating a good meal listening to that. I was like, wow, look at this. So ultra effective, ultra relevant.
Actually, I have a question. So I know.
Gonna make it interesting.
Yes. So how do you think, and please explain to us, how discipline and consistency plays within leadership? Because I think those are the two main things, at least when I exercise leadership with my team. So I would just like to know your opinion about that.
Yeah, so great words, discipline and consistency. I think it's important, especially in an executive protection operation. I often tell folks when I'm training them or leading them that the right way is the team way. So, there's 100 different ways to do certain things. There's 100 different ways that you can measure right. If I open the door this way and that way, there's going to be variables that affect whether it's right for the situation. What's wrong for the situation is not being consistent, not having that smooth flow that interrupts the momentum, that puts our VIPs at risk and makes us, perform poorly. Consistency is the element that creates high performers as individuals and makes them a team. When you can work together as a team in the same way towards the same goals, you're going to have that consistency. And the piece about discipline, that's what gets you to the consistency, right? When I have discipline as an individual, I'm going to the gym, I'm working with my team, we're training together. When we're training together on fundamentals, we're refining that SOP and we are building the consistency so that when we get out there in the operation, the right way is a team way. But in order to do that, we have to be disciplined. We have to know when it's our turn to step up. We have to know when it's our turn to step back, right? And just be. We have to be disciplined in the moment, when we're finding work, if there's things going on, we have to be able to react appropriately. And the discipline is what's going to lead to that in operation. When discipline in your personal life, discipline in training, when you're disciplined and consistent, it's not going to feel like a chore in operations. It's just going to happen. It's just going to flow, right?
Yeah.
So I do have a tricky question.
Because the discipline gets you to where it's organic. The discipline gets you to where it's has its own momentum. I love it.
Do you think everyone or anyone can be a leader?
So that's a great question.
Yeah, it's like predestination.
So I'm going to give you the answer that I give to just about every question when somebody shows up to our training program, and it depends. Yeah. Does everyone have the potential? Absolutely. If they've got functional levels of society capabilities, then they can lead, right? But they need to come with an open mind and an open mindset. They need to be able to be a sponge and learn, because leadership isn't about a one-way conversation. Leadership is two-way. I learn more leading from feedback from my teams than I do giving them answers. Right?
They need to lead me from the front. I need their information so I can make effective decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. Right?
Yeah.
That's why we have them on our teams. We hired them for a reason.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Everyone's a leader. Every single one of you is a leader. Every single one of you serves. We're all both just in different positions. It's kind of how I explain
100%. And based on their role, right? And the scope of their responsibilities and within their level of training and skill set, right? We don't need a bunch of rogue people out there trying to, do a bunch of things that go against the operation.
Right.
But when your junior members come on the team and you treat them like leaders from the beginning, they end up with a sense of empowerment, a sense of ownership. And then for the leader in positional leadership roles, it actually becomes easier and performance becomes better because we end up solving problems we didn't know we had from the eyes and experts in the weeds that know what's going on.
That's good, man.
At the front lines.
Yeah.
I love this.
I got 2 words, and I want to throw them out and just get everyone's thoughts.
Okay.
Servant leadership.
True leadership.
Yeah, you're a representative of the people you're leading and the organization you work for, right? So the servant element is it's a responsibility. Leadership is about owning that responsibility and representing the organization, but also representing the individuals on your team, because the organization needs to be aligned with that operation, right? If we are misaligned, we're going to have poor performance. And so we need to make sure we have that responsibility.
100%. And then, for me, servant leadership is literally just the only way to do it, and whether I'm bringing correction, I'm doing this from a place of love, compassion. This is the way I've got to serve you to make sure I can curve this behavior to protect the entire team. This is an act of service to the team, an act of service to you, an act of service to everyone who's depending on us. Every single position when these guys when I get new guys, I tell them, listen, every single person's a decision maker. I want to create decision makers. Every single person's a leader. Every single person is here to serve the team. I'm here to serve the team. And I use it in my verbiage when I'm talking to them. Hey, this is something that we're putting together. I think I can serve you guys, make this a better place for you guys to work and empower you to achieve the mission in this way. And so they kind of see my role of service to them. And I try to get that heart into every single one of them. So I attack the culture to make it so everyone's thinking servant leadership the entire time. And every single person has to own that for us. And it makes work awesome. It's how can I protect you? How can I serve you? And then how can I find work?
I also think that some keywords here is trust, loyalty, and brand protection, which I think these three.
These are some powerful words.
Yes,
Each one of those
three
words is
elements,
like
but I think these three elements equates respect at the end of the day as well. So if you have respect within your team and with management, then as you said, it becomes fun.
yeah,
It becomes like you're not really working.
yeah.
It
The relationships can deepen, relax.
Exactly.
There's much more you can do when you have those
Exactly.
things in place.
So I think those words are very important.
Who would think you would come to a close protection conference and get such incredible content such as leadership? I think it's amazing. Justin, I want to commend you, man. Can we just before we close, just shed a little bit of light on what you do back home as a tool for many operatives and people wanting to come in?
And as a Canadian.
And the platform and all this stuff, man.
Okay, so everything I'm doing in the business side with SpecVIP is designed around helping people. So when I come to this conference, when I go to training courses, when I'm working with folks or chatting with them on social media, I'm listening first. And then I take that feedback and I try and find ways that I can help people by adding value into areas that aren't already being done. Because we've got a lot of great value out there, and I don't want to repeat it if somebody else has already done it. I'm just going to send people to those folks, and I'm going to look for areas that I can improve on that. So I've got a training background. I love training and developing people, so that's a big part of my focus, is developing people through training programs. We've got an online kind of marketplace right now for various different training courses. They are specifically focused on some specialized topics in executive protection, close protection. One of the ones that I'm most proud of has been our close protection site liaison course. It was our flagship course, and it's kind of a mini close protection course that helps close protection members, if event security or law enforcement or military have that training, they can blend in to an EP operation that much smoother. So they can, they take the course. Exactly, be an asset. So they end up becoming, part of the team of high performance with what we were just talking about, right? So then once folks are done, then I keep listening to them, I hear them, and they wanted more. They wanted more opportunities at this conference. One of the biggest challenges I always was told was, how do we find contacts? There's lots of little pockets and networks, but when you go outside of your network, where do you go? Do you go to a Google search?
Yeah.
Or maybe you go somewhere a little bit more focused and specific. So that's why we came up with the VIP Local Asset Network, which is an online VIP operations platform for people in close protection or other industries that align. And it's very much focused on being supportive. So there's kind of a profile element where you can have, like an online resume basically, and then there's opportunities for vetting in there by sharing professional information in the forums and a variety of different things. And then monthly we also do training sessions. So we put a training video out on a specific topic, and then we get together and talk about it. So, and it's all focused on either career success or operations or both, try and blend that. And it's been very well received and got lots of great feedback on it from here at the conference.
So good, man. So good. Look, thank you so much, Justin. I really appreciate everything that you've done. You're continually evolving, man. And
100%.
we're evolving from your involvement.
Well, thank
100%.
you.
And these contributions to the game, man, with your websites, your training courses, the way you're thinking, it's really, really valuable. And the leadership stuff, it's what's needed. Because one of the big gripes that me and the other guys, and actually everyone's been talking about, is who's teaching above the 7-day or entry-level executive protection training. There's just not a lot of training in that space of how do I go from, up into being the detail leader, or the detail leader into the project manager. And so this leadership, all the things you're talking about, I think is so valuable, on time, necessary, and it's digital, so everybody can go on ahead and get involved, man. So Thank you, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Beyond the basics. That's what I'm trying to do. So.
That's awesome.
Justin Hanson, everybody.
Thank you.
Justin Hanson. Everybody, we're going to do a little boom for the booms.
1, 2, 3,
Boom.
This podcast is brought to you by Executive Protection Lifestyle Canada. Make sure to drop by next week and don't forget to subscribe.